Very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the current affairs classes. I hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to cover 19 to 20 December CA, and at the end we are going to discuss the top 5 MCQs in the short series as well as usual. Okay. I hope the audio and video is all good. So let's begin with the first set of news for 19th and 20th December. In ESI Finance and Business News category, first thing which you have is that the Central KYC Records Registry has extended the deadline for masking. Okay, so this Central KYC Record Registry has extended deadline for masking. What is masking? What is this registry about? Masking, first of all, if you see, is a security measure. What happens is you have Aadhaar card, right? You have Aadhaar card, you have PAN card, all other important documents which you have. There are important documents. Now what happens is if you provide these important documents to someone, your all the say Aadhaar number, all the digits are, if they are visible, they might be used by some antisocial elements or the cyber criminals or those who want to breach your privacy, right? Or they might be taken up for privacy breach by any company, etc. So a lot of information is being shared nowadays. Now what happens in this case is when you mask that number, suppose only last 4 digits of that number is visible, right? Only last 4 digits of the number is visible, then the entire number is masked. This is what is known as masked. So it is masked, it will be secured. So this is kind of a security feature, okay? Security feature for your important documents. So the Central KYC Records Registry has extended this deadline for masking of the documents to January 2025. It has said that by 20th January 2025, you have to do this masking of all these important documents. So like Aadhaar, so these KYC identifiers which help in know your customer verification, KYC, right? Aadhaar, PAN card, voter ID, driving license, they have to be masked by 20th January. Only last 4 digits will be visible. I hope it is clear, everyone, right? So this is important step towards ensuring privacy of the individuals and that the data is not misused for several manipulative purposes. Now, what is the Central KYC Records Registry? The CKYCRR. CKYCRR is basically a repository of customer KYC records. Here you have all your KYC based records. You can access them. If you are registered with it, you can get a number which is a 14-digit CKYC number. Okay, so if you are registered with this, you can get a 14-digit number which is CKYC number, and this can be used by you. What happens? Sometimes suppose you are in some financial activity or banking activity, you want to enroll, right? Or you want to get some loan or whatever service you want to avail. Now in that case, you have to provide, sometimes you have to provide separate KYC related documents like these documents. So once you registered with this Central KYC Records Registry and you get this 14-digit CKYC number, after that you can always give that number, so you need not separately provide these documents again and again wherever they are required. So this eases out the process for the customer. I hope this news is clear. So remember, this deadline has been extended. Next you have World Bank. World Bank has approved $800 million of Amravati Integrated Urban Development Program. Now, if you have been following the current affairs classes, you must be knowing lot of times World Bank and Asian Development Bank, they are committing to provide financial assistance and loans for the development of Amravati. Amravati is being developed as a smart city. So it is going to be a very high-tech city as a capital of the state of Andhra Pradesh, for which World Bank has committed how much? $800 million of loan. Maturity period is 29 years. So World Bank is quite in news. So I'm telling you, remember all the important static portion related to World Bank, okay? As well as ADB, Asian Development Bank. Also BRICS is always in news. So these institutes which remain in news constantly, at least you should be very strong on their static basics as well, because they ask you these kind of questions like where they are headquartered, when they were founded, etc. So about World Bank, you see currently the president of World Bank is Ajay Banga. World Bank is headquartered at Washington DC, USA, right? And the parent organization is World Bank Group. One very important fact here is what you can remember, World Bank along with IMF, they are both of them, they are called as Bretton Woods twins. Okay, why? Because they were founded at Bretton Woods in New Hampshire, US. So Bretton Woods were the place where they were established. So IMF and World Bank, they are both together known as the Bretton Woods twins. Remember this. Okay. Then you have World Bank also approving $1.16 billion of loan to help Bangladesh in improving its, healthcare services, its water sanitation services, etc. World Bank is committed in providing these financial assistance to developing countries for their overall development. Next news which we have is India Ratings. India Ratings has projected India's economy to grow at 6.6%. Okay, so this is a projection for financial year 25-26 or 26 financial year. 2026 financial year ke liye India Ratings has projected this growth rate 6.6. You can remember this. India Ratings is a credit rating agency. You all must be knowing this. Okay. So this is better than the erstwhile projection of 6.4, which was downward, right? So now it is better. And this has been reported in a report titled Macroeconomic Outlook. Okay. Then next you have the central government and Asian Development Bank. They have signed a loan. How much amount? 42 billion, not billion, sorry, $42 million loan to provide coastal and river bank protection, to increase resilience of local communities and natural ecosystem in the state of Maharashtra. Now, natural ecosystem, riverine ecosystem and communities, they require protection, resilience, restoration, conservation, right? Because they are important in the overall biodiversity conservation. So remember this, central government has signed a loan with Asian Development Bank. So it is assisting the central government in this project. What is the amount? 42 million US dollars. Okay. In the state of Maharashtra, they will be conserving these riverine ecosystem and aquatic or coastal areas and communities. Then next you have is Indian government and Asian Development Bank, again they have signed $350 million policy based loan, okay, under SMILE program. What is this SMILE program? So you have different SMILE program, right? You have another SMILE program as well, but this one is not that SMILE. This is strengthening multi-modal and integrated logistics ecosystem program. So here the SMILE program which we are talking about, the extension of the SMILE program is strengthening multi-modal and integrated logistics ecosystem program. This is to improve the logistic ecosystem of the country, right? For this, Asian Development Bank is providing $350 million of policy-based loan. So what is this policy-based loan? Policy-based loan is basically provided for a particular policy implementation, right? Generally, the loans provided, they can be used for any purpose, like for construction activities, for infrastructure project, and for development projects like your development of Amravati capital. But policy-based loans, they are particularly offered for supporting policy implementation in the countries, okay? So this is a policy-based loan. Remember, for SMILE program, which is Logistic Ecosystem Enhancement Program, logistics like transportation, reducing the transportation costs, etc. So SMILE program is a flagship scheme which adopts a comprehensive approach to logistics reforms, okay, as I told you. And this initiative, it was launched in collaboration with, remember, this initiative, collaboration with Department of Economic Affairs, Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and ADB. So this entire initiative is a collaboration, this policy-based loan for SMILE program, between your Department of Economic Affairs, DPIIT, and ADB. So three partners are there, remember. And again, ADB is in news, so static portion about the Asian Development Bank also remains important. Asian Development Bank is headquartered at Manila, Philippines, right? Remember, Manila, Philippines, and presently 69 member countries are there. Remember, 69 member countries are there, and president is Masato Kanda, okay? 11th president. So these static portions should be clear. The next you have is Noida based Nucleus Software. Noida based Nucleus Software. It has successfully implemented its Fin1 Neo Collections platform. So it has started a platform, Nucleus Software. What is the platform? Fin1 Neo Collections platform. What is this platform about? So first of all, it has been started at Bank Muscat. They will be providing support to improve delinquency management and streamline collection processes, right? So see, they have partnered with Bank Muscat for the implementation of this. Now this is going to do what? It is going to help banks in recovery or say in delinquency management, okay? What is delinquency? What is delinquency? Delinquency is you have taken a loan, so when there are delays in the loan, that frequent delays, it is known as delinquency. And when there are frequent delays and it goes beyond a limit, then you know it becomes NPA, right? So delinquency is the delay in your repayment of the loan. So banks face a lot of issue in this. A lot of people, they delay their paying back of the loan obligation. The loan obligation, they did not pay it back on time. So a lot of delinquency cases are there. Now this is going to provide them new solutions as to how they can collect these loans and they can reduce the cases of delinquency, right? So this is the thing. And how they can collect, how can they improve this process of collection from these borrowers. Then next you have is Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for micro and small enterprises. It has marked a significant milestone. What milestone? So this CGTMSE, we have discussed this organization or this initiative earlier as well. Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for MSME or micro and small enterprises. I'll come to it, what is it? But then it has created a milestone. It has achieved a milestone by approving 1 crore guarantees, okay? It has approved by now 1 crore guarantees. So this is something you should be remembering. Now, what is this Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for micro and small enterprises? First of all, this was established, of course, by our Ministry of Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises, MSME Ministry, Government of India, right? And SEBI. So remember, it was jointly established by whom? You have to remember both the names, Ministry, MSME, and the other entity will be SEBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India, SEBI, okay? What was the aim? Aim was to collect, to provide collateral free credit to these enterprises, okay? कोलेट्रल फ्री. व्हाट इज कोलेट्रल? जब भी आप लोन लेते हैं तो आपको उसके अगेंस्ट में कुछ सिक्योरिटी रखनी होती है, राइट? जिसको हम कोलेट्रल कहते हैं. जैसे गोल्ड रखा तो वो कोलेट्रल हो गया, आपने अपनी गाड़ी रख दी वो कोलेट्रल हो गया. सो व्हाट एवर सिक्योरिटी यू आर प्रोवाइडिंग अगेंस्ट द लोन. MSMEs के साथ क्या दिक्कत है? जो माइक्रो स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेज होते हैं, माइक्रो एंड स्मॉल एंटरप्राइजेज, दे डू नॉट हैव समटाइम्स they do not have enough capital, right, and enough assets to provide as collateral. So it becomes difficult for them to access bank loan, right? To streamline this process and to help them further in their economic activities and reduce this barrier, eliminate this barrier of collateral which is hindering their growth, they have established, the Government of India and SEBI have established this trust, okay, Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. So they want to and they try to provide collateral free loan. Guarantee का tenure कितना होता है? 5 years, okay, up to 5 years they provide, the tenure of the guarantee they provide will be 5 years. If you look at the structure, so maximum extent of guarantee coverage where credit facility is this, how much they provide. For micro enterprises, if you are availing loan up to 5 lakhs, for micro enterprises, 85% of the guarantee will be provided. Remaining will be added by you, right? So there will be a margin value. Now that means what's the entire 100% of the loan is not sanctioned. Only some portion of the guarantee is provided and some margin requirement is there. You have to manage the margin fund, right? So 85% will be provided. If say your loan amount is above 5 lakh to 50 lakhs, then 75% will be provided for micro enterprises. Above 50 lakh to up to 50 crores, then your 75% coverage of that loan amount will be provided by banks, right? For MSEs located in Northeast region as well. So this is a table, you can go through it later on. You need not remember all these distributions. Just remember the broader one, at least for micro enterprises and all other category of borrowers. Almost 75, 80, 85, 90 percentages there. You can go through this table later on. Okay, just a second. I think the video is not clear, right? आप लोगों ने बताया नहीं. Just a second. Video is clear? Okay. Okay. All right then, let's resume our discussion. Now it is clear, right? So we were discussing this table. Now I hope it is clear. So just go through it, and this is the credit guarantee trust or fund. I hope it is clear. Then next one is your International Finance Corporation. International Finance Corporation. What is this International Finance Corporation? It is basically working towards promoting economic development through private sector investment in developing countries. So this International Finance Corporation is working for economic development via private sector development. Okay, so private sector investment in the developing countries, promoting investment coming from the private sector. So it is engaged in investment activities as well. It has invested how much? $75 million. $75 million in sustainability linked bonds issued by NDR InvIT. This much only will be relevant. You need not remember the exact figure as well here. Just understand the concept. What is the sustainability linked issue bond, okay, which is issued by this InvIT, NDR InvIT. This sustainability linked bond in domestic currency, it is the first by warehousing InvIT in India, right? So basically, what is an InvIT? InvIT is infrastructure investment trust. You have REITs, you have InvITs, they issue these instruments. Via these instruments, for example, we are talking about InvITs, so they raise funds. InvITs, it will be investing this fund into infrastructure based projects, right? And you will be earning out of that. So sustainability linked bonds, they are basically they have features where the return on the bond, for example, interest, etc., will be linked to the sustainability performance of the issuer. Suppose this NDR InvIT has launched. So how much is it adhering to the ESG norms, environmental, social and governance norms, which is it has to adhere to according to SEBI, right? So how much you are performing on the sustainability part. So that return would be linked to your sustainability performance. This is sustainability linked what? So this is in news. This much only is relevant, nothing else. Then next you have is government allocating 3.27 lakh crore rupees for women and girls in 24-25. Okay, so this is an increase over 30% over the allocation 23-24. 3.27. How much? 3.27 lakh crore rupees has been allocated for betterment and for implementing schemes for the betterment of women and girl child. So this was about this ESI finance category. Moving on to regulatory bodies news. Regulatory bodies news mein you have very important thing. The Reserve Bank of India has released State Finances, a study of budgets of 24-25 report. Okay, so this report has been released by RBI. Anything being released by RBI will be very, very important, of course. You cannot skip. So let's see what it has highlighted over here. It has highlighted fiscal reforms by the state. What are these fiscal reforms? Reforms related to performance of the state government. Wherever you find this word fiscal, you know that it is related to government's expenditure or taxation policy. Because government only has two fiscal tools, right? Government affects the policies, tries to have some impact on the economy via these two tools. Either by spending, doing expenditure, be it consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, or by taxing, right? So G and T, these are the fiscal tools. Now, theme of the report, remember, is fiscal reforms by states. Remember the theme, very, very important. Theme of the report is fiscal reforms by states. What are the important findings? First thing, that the state governments have contained their gross fiscal deficit within 3% of GDP limit during 21-22 to 23-24. Now, this is the thing. I hope you all know what is fiscal deficit, right? When the total expenditure of the government is more than the total receipts. Like you have your own budget for a month, for a year. तो जब आपके खर्चे आपकी अर्निंग से ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं उसको डेफिसिट बोलते हैं. Similarly, government, when total expenditure of the government is more than the total receipts, government is in deficit other than the borrowings. So fiscal deficit का formula always remember, it will be, fiscal deficit का formula will be total expenditure minus total receipts other than borrowings. Other than borrowings, right? So in fiscal deficit, your total expenditure will be more than total receipts. Total expenditure will be more than total receipts. Now, what does that mean? Other than borrowing. Why have I written other than borrowing? Other than borrowing means, बिकॉज यू सी, जब भी आपके पास घाटा होता है तो आपके पास क्या ऑप्शन होता है, किसी से बोरो करोगे, राइट? सो जनरली द बोरोड अमाउंट इज इक्वल टू द डेफिसिट ओनली. अगर आपको 1000 रुपये कम पड़ रहे हैं तो आप 1000 रुपये उधार लेते हैं, है ना? तो अगर आप बोरोइंग भी इसमें इंक्लूड कर दोगे तो ये डबल काउंटिंग हो जाएगी ना फिगर्स की, एग्जेजरेटेड फिगर आएगा. सो वी डू नॉट वांट टू डू दिस exaggeration. So basically, to avoid this exaggeration, now what happens is, if government is having fiscal deficit, it is equal to the borrowing of the government. Government borrows from the market or from RBI, right? So it is equal. So that's why excluding borrowings. I hope the fiscal deficit idea is clear. Now, why we are saying that the state governments have capped it to 3% of GDP? It cannot be higher. Cannot be means it should not be higher. It goes higher. Okay, it goes higher. It should not be higher. What? Fiscal deficit. Why? Because if fiscal deficit is too much, it is showing that government is borrowing too much. How much amount will government borrow? That can be reflective of the economic health. Why? Government की अगर fiscal deficit ज़्यादा है, तो in that case they don't have any other option. They will be borrowing. Now what happens is, we all are paying taxes. So the taxpayers' money is going into repayment of loans. Why we are paying taxes? We are paying taxes so as to have proper infrastructure facilities, right, to be provided by the government. Now in that case, a lot of money of the economy goes into waste, right? Because government is borrowed, so government will be paying back. That money could have been utilized for capital creation, for infrastructure, for development projects. higher fiscal deficit is in long term harmful for the economy. So there are guidelines कि इतनी होनी चाहिए. Similarly, we have FRBM Act for this, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003-4. Okay, FRBM, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. It has set out certain guidelines for the central and state governments कि आपको कितना रखना चाहिए, कितना fiscal deficit is ideal, जिससे इकोनॉमी को ज़्यादा नुकसान ना हो, right? So according to that FRBM Act, 3%, always remember, it has clearly set out that the fiscal deficit should be kept, should be at 3% of GDP. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. This much will be bearable, right? अच्छा, fiscal deficit आप zero भी नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि government has to do expenditure. Resources चाहे कम हो, revenue चाहे कम हो, you have to spend for the economy, for the welfare of the people, right? So 3% of GDP. तो ये report कह रही है fiscal reforms by states. This report is saying that state governments are well into this. They are maintaining this. But central government is continuously breaching this target. Central government is still not able to curb its fiscal deficit to 3%. I hope it is clear, everyone. Tell me yes or no, right? So this is the thing, and the revenue deficit is at 0.2% of GDP. This is also within the required limits, because according to FRBM Act, the revenue deficit should be 0.8% of the GDP. Okay, revenue deficit should be 0.8% of the GDP. For states, it is 0.2. So please remember these things. This is very important, very, very important. 0.2 it is present, ideally it should be 0.8, so this is quite good. States are performing good on terms of fiscal parameters, right? What is revenue deficit? See, fiscal deficit क्या हुआ? Total expenditure minus total receipt. Revenue deficit where you are only considering revenue expenditure and revenue receipts. Okay, capital को हटा के सिर्फ revenue expenditure. अब revenue expenditure क्या होता है गवर्नमेंट का? जिसमें ना तो कोई एसेट क्रिएट हो रहा हो, ना ही गवर्नमेंट पे कोई लाइबिलिटी बन रही हो. जैसे गवर्नमेंट अपने एम्प्लॉयज को सैलरी देती है, राइट? उससे गवर्नमेंट का ना तो कोई एसेट रिड्यूस हो रहा है, ना कोई लाइबिलिटी क्रिएट हो रही है, बस पेमेंट हो गया, ठीक है? सो दीज आर द एक्सपेंडिचर्स फ्रॉम द साइड ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट विच गवर्नमेंट हैज टू डू. When revenue expenditure is more than the revenue receipts, this is known as revenue deficit. Revenue deficit. Acha, one more thing, if you have noticed, why the FRBM Act has set out this target of 0.2 for revenue deficit? ये कम क्यों है? ये और कम क्यों है? Almost zero क्यों है? और fiscal deficit 3 क्यों है? Is revenue deficit more harmful? You have to think like this, right? Of course. Now I will give you an example. You will be able to understand. आप बैंक के पास जाते हैं, you go to the bank and you ask for loan, right? Bank will see what? You are asking this loan for your consumption purpose या किसी इन्वेस्टमेंट पर्पस के लिए. अगर आप उसे कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं, it is gone. आपके पास उसको रीपे करने के लिए कोई सोर्स नहीं है, right? Other than your income. But if you are say asking for loan for the कैपिटल क्रिएशन फॉर इन्वेस्टमेंट पर्पस, तो बैंक को पता है कि अच्छा इससे तो ये इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहा है तो इसके पास एसेट होगा, उससे यू विल बी एबल टू पे बैक द लोन. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज लोन फॉर कंजम्पशन पर्पस इज ऑलवेज हार्मफुल. अगर आप नहीं चुका पाए तो उसके अगेंस्ट में आपके पास एसेट भी नहीं है रिकवर, ताकि बैंक रिकवर कर ले उसको. गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? सिमिलरली फॉर द गवर्नमेंट, रेवेन्यू डेफिसिट क्या है कि गवर्नमेंट का रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर ज़्यादा है और रेवेन्यू रिसीट्स कम है. यानी अब उस रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर को, फॉर एग्जाम्पल सिर्फ सैलरी देने के लिए गवर्नमेंट मार्केट से लोन ले रही है, तो कैसे रीपे करेगी? उसके अगेंस्ट कोई एसेट तो क्रिएट नहीं हुआ, कोई इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं बना. दैट्स वाई this target is more lower than fiscal deficit, because revenue deficit is harmful than the fiscal deficit. अब ये बहुत डिटेल्ड कंसेप्ट्स हैं. आई एम नॉट गोइंग इनटू ऑल दीज काइंड ऑफ डेफिसिट्स. ये बजट में मैंने आप लोगों को पढ़ाया हुआ है. इफ यू लुक एट द क्लास, बजट की जो क्लास अपलोडेड है यूट्यूब पे, ऑल दीज कंसेप्ट्स आर डिस्कस्ड ओवर देयर. बट आई होप जितना वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन द क्लास, दिस इज क्लियर. And so think like this, think in broader terms. Interview में they can ask you what are these implications. Only data is not sufficient, right? So this is the thing. Second observation in the report is saying that quality of expenditure has improved. The quality of expenditure हाँ, रेवेन्यू मतलब जो अर्निंग होती है, राइट? राजस्व. So quality of expenditure is also improved for the states. Then if you see, capital expenditure is also rising from 2.4% to 2.8%. State governments are also doing capital expenditure. What is capital expenditure? Spending on assets, spending on infrastructure projects, right? And their total liabilities have also declined. Also, the state specific fiscal responsibility legislations, they are performing well. So as I told you ki central level pe we have a law, FRBM Act. Similarly, state level pe these laws are there, so they are performing well, right? Fiscal responsibility legislation, which sets out ki government has to be responsible in expenditure, in taxation policies. Clear? Next, what you have is SEBI. Now, this is again important. SEBI has simplified the framework for asset management companies. Asset management companies, those who manage these mutual funds, etc. Now, these mutual fund houses or asset management companies के लिए SEBI has a good news. उन्होंने थोड़ा सा process easy कर दिया, right? What they have eased out is they have reduce the requirement to upload this draft scheme information document to 8 working days. Now, suppose you have launched a new mutual fund in the market. You are an asset management company and you have launched a new mutual fund. Now, for launching a new mutual fund or about any mutual fund, you need to provide this document, right? What is the document? Scheme information document, where you provide all the details of this scheme, right? And then you call for investors' opinion or public opinion onto it. So this has been reduced. The number of days have been reduced from earlier 21 to 8 working days now. 8 working days. Earlier, up to 21 days you had to put it for public review. Now 8 days only. So now you are only required to upload this on SEBI's website for only 8 working days. Okay, to receive public comments. 21 दिन तक आपको उसे upload करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. This is very important. Remember, this has been reduced to 8 working days from erstwhile 21 working days. I hope it is clear. So it will help the asset management companies in fastening this process, right? So it will make the process very faster and quicker now as compared to the earlier scenario. Then you have Department of Banking Technology, School of Management, Pondicherry University. It has collaborated with RBI for what? For a seminar. So this is a seminar organized on emerging trends in financial technology and central bank digital currency. Recently, this seminar was organized where they have discussed about the scope and further rolling out and implementation of the central bank digital currency and what are the new trends in fintech or financial technology. The seminar was organized where, remember, at Jawaharlal Nehru Auditorium. So remember, this was a joint effort or a collaboration between Pondicherry University and RBI. Then next is SEBI has imposed a fine. SEBI has imposed a fine of 6 lakh rupees on IBPSC Cash Limited. For what? For certain disclosure norms related delinquency. So it has not adhered to certain disclosure norms related to IPO. For that it has been fined. So just remember the name. IBPSC Cash has been recently fined by SEBI. If you don't remember, this amount would be okay. Then next, banking news category mein, you have Tata Power Renewable Energy Limited. Tata Power Renewable Energy Limited. It has joined hands with Canara Bank. It has collaborated with Canara Bank for what? For adoption of rooftop solar system under PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana is one of the very important schemes for all the upcoming examination. We are seeing this news continuously. We are discussing this thing in the current affairs, right? So it is almost there in news daily. And you by now must be remembering the typical features of this scheme. Like it provides you 300 up to 300 units of free electricity if you have installed these solar panels on the rooftop, right? So to promote further adoption of solar rooftop adoption, Tata Power Renewable Energy has collaborated. Remember, this is a collaboration with Canara Bank. So both these names are important. And then overall aim is, of course, in for the promotion of solar energy or renewable based energy generation system. Okay. Under this collaboration, they will be providing loans as well for installation of the solar panels and associated components. For systems with a capacity of up to 3 kilowatts, the scheme, under this scheme, they provide loans up to rupees 2 lakh, okay, with a 10% margin money requirement. And for systems between 3 kilowatt and 10 kilowatt of capacity, under this scheme, the PM Surya Ghar Mufti Bijli Yojana, loans up to 6 lakh rupees with a 20% margin money requirement will be there. What is this margin money? As I have discussed with you, the entire amount of loan does not get sanctioned, right? So suppose you have 2 lakh amount, 2 lakh rupees of the amount of loan you want from the bank, you need for something, but if 20% of the margin money is there, 20% of margin money is there, that would mean what? Out of 2 lakh, 20% will be 20,000, right? So that will be managed by you, rest will be provided by the bank. This is the concept of margin money. I hope it is clear. 20% of 2 lakh, 20,000 will be managed by you, arranged by you, remaining amount will be provided. So entire amount is not covered. This is to ensure what? This is to ensure that you are also responsible for that thing. If 100% guarantee is provided by the bank, you will not be feeling accountable for that amount. Are you getting my point? So this is the thing. Now, you can remember these features, remember them, and this scheme is important. याद रखना है 2 लाख रुपए तक 10% margin money will be there, collateral free financing होगी, right? 7% interest rate per annum 10 years के लिए. इसमें भी you have 20% margin money 6 lakh तक, and then tenure will be 10 years. So they have this separate scheme. Remember this specific classification, capacity wise loan assistance, and the interest rate and the tenure in both the categories is 10 years. Remember this. Moving on to the next one, you have TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. It has expanded partnership with the Bank of Baroda. For what? This extension of partnership with Bank of Baroda coming from TCS is in continuous implementation of financial inclusion solution for next 5 years. So with this collaboration, they are trying to continuously implement efforts towards financial inclusion, right? Financial inclusion is a very important topic as well in your RBI Grade B syllabus. Financial inclusion is what? Where you try to include, you try to mainstream the people who have not been active in the banking system so far. For example, serving the unbanked areas, underbanked areas, developing deposit habits, banking habits of the people, integrating them with the banking services, financial institution services, processes, etc. Financial inclusion. Improving branch penetration, number of branches, deposits, reaching out to the remotest corners. This is financial inclusion. And or one more important fact, static fact, which I can give you, you can write it down separately, is first of all, this word financial inclusion in India was given by Raghuram Rajan and C. Rangarajan committee. Okay. Raghuram Rajan and C. Rangarajan committee ने first of all India में this financial inclusion का concept they have given. Remember this. So this was the news. Then next is Punjab and Sind Bank. They have raised 3,000 crore of rupees through 10-year infrastructure bond at a coupon rate of 7.74%. So they have raised this much through infrastructure bond, 10-year infrastructure bond. This much only will be relevant. No discussion is required. What are infrastructure bond? You know that the fund collected is invested into infrastructure projects. Okay. Next is ICICI Bank and Times Internet. They have launched a super premium credit card. So this can be important. Remember the name. A super premium. Premium bhi nahi, super premium, right? Credit card, which is Times Black. Times Black. So this is this has been launched by ICICI Bank and Times Internet. Okay. Of course, it is super premium, so it is targeting the high net worth individuals, very high net worth individuals. This is not catering to the common man, right? Ultra high net individuals, where your annual fee only is rupees 20,000, okay? And the annual fee is 20,000 waived for yearly expenditure of up to 25 lakhs. Of course, these current affairs, they are more than sufficient for the examination, but condition applied that you revise them properly, right? If you rely on multiple sources and you read the document once only, it is not going to help anyway. You rely only on one source, whichever you want easy to understand and you rely upon, but revise it multiple times. I always say this in class, right? So this was it. Then next is Bank of Baroda. The Board of Bank of Baroda has approved raising long-term bonds for financing infrastructure and affordable housing. So it has approved ki 10,000 crore up to it will be raising for infrastructure and housing financing. Remember. Then something important coming out here. Supreme Court has removed 30% interest cap on the late credit card bill payments. Okay. Now, what was the thing? This NCDRC, National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, which deals with the consumer disputes, right? National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, इसने एक ruling दी थी. It has ruled that charging credit card holders interest rate in excess of 30% per annum if they fail to make their full payment on time was unfair. इन्होंने कहा था कि if you have a credit card holder who has not been able to pay the entire amount on time and you are charging that person interest rate per annum of more than 30%, this is quite unfair. You should not go beyond 30% even if you want to penalize that person for delaying the payment, right? ये किसने बोला था? ये बोला था NCDRC ने. But this has been reversed by the Supreme Court of India. Supreme Court says that no, this is not unfair, it can go beyond it, right? So this is the thing. So now you might have to pay more than 30% if you fail in timely payment, right? Then next is Yes Bank in collaboration with FICCI FLO. So FICCI is ladies organization chapter which is working towards ladies women empowerment. FICCI FLO has launched Yes Power Up. Remember, Yes Bank in collaboration with FICCI FLO, they have launched Yes Power Up. Yes Power Up. What is this? This is a special program for empowering women entrepreneurs where they will be providing financial solutions, loans, training, etc. to all those women who want to volunteer in the entrepreneurial activities. This is the thing. Remember the name, Yes Power Up, and collaboration between Yes Bank and FICCI FLO. Next one is RBI has recently imposed a monetary penalty. So this can be important. Penalties imposed by RBI and SEBI are important. RBI has imposed this on whom? On the IndusInd Bank. Okay, on the IndusInd Bank. 27.3 lakh rupees on the IndusInd Bank. For what? Reason was, it was found that the IndusInd Bank has opened up certain saving accounts for ineligible entities. Those customers who were not eligible for the saving accounts, it has provided them the facility of opening saving accounts. So for this, it was fine. Now, what is important, remember the static portion of it. Sometimes they ask you these kind of questions that recently RBI has imposed this penalty onto this institute, for example, right? So this power comes to RBI from which section of the which act? This can also be a probable area of question. They have asked these kind of questions. So this power comes from where? Where RBI has imposed this penalty on IndusInd Bank. It is coming in the exercise of power conferred on RBI under the provision of section 47A clause 1 subclause C, okay, of the Banking Regulation Act 1949. So please remember these kind of information as well. The act, whether this power is coming from RBI Act or Banking Regulation Act or etc. And which section of that act. I hope it is clear to everyone, right? So for this purpose, this is coming from section 47A clause 1 subclause C of the Banking Regulation Act. Then next, again you have another penalty. So RBI has imposed this penalty on the Manappuram Finance Limited. Manappuram Finance, because there were certain, lapses in compliance with the KYC norms. It was not complying with the exact appropriate KYC guidelines issued by RBI. For this, it has been fined with 2 lakh rupees. 20 lakh rupees, not 2 lakh. Okay. So this is 20 lakh rupees. Now, 20 lakh rupee fine would be okay. But then again, a static portion. Where this power coming from? So this is coming from your section 58G read with clause AA of subsection 5, section 58B of RBI Act 1934. Are you getting this point? So earlier, when the IndusInd Bank has provided unnecessary saving accounts to ineligible entities, power came from the penalizing power on to RBI, imposing penalty. This power came to RBI from Banking Regulation Act. Here, this power, where they're not complying with the KYC norm, is coming from RBI Act. Which section? 58G, 58B, etc. Then next, what we have is, Center has recently proposed to classify unregulated lending as a cognizable and non-bailable offense, okay, with penalties. Unregulated lending. You see, unregulated lending क्या होती है? Lot of non-institutional lending is also there. Unregulated lending, you are lending aggressively, not complying with the, not assessing the risk properly, not complying with the guidelines set out by RBI, the regulator, not complying with the KYC norms. So this is a big issue. It has taken a lot of effort to reduce the NPA of the banking sector, right? So now, since we are performing well on the NPA, the private banks, the PSBs as well, it will be a huge cost if we go back to that path, right? So government is trying to make it more stricter if you are engaged in unregulated lending. So in collaboration with the states, Finance Ministry has proposed a draft bill. Bill is BULA, banning of unregulated lending activities. Okay. You see a lot of digital platforms nowadays, personal loan apps. They are providing you loans quickly, 1 in 2 minutes or few minutes, whatever they offer, but they are not regulated. They are not being regulated by the RBI, so it is not secured. If you do not pay them, they'll contact all of your relatives, right? They will post your photos. So this is breach of privacy. This is not proper regulation. This is not how institutional lending works. Are you getting my point? So they want to ensure proper regulated lending. So lenders who engage in any such illegal lending practices, they will face imprisonment. उनको जेल हो सकती है कितनी? Even for terms ranging from 2 to 7 years. Remember, these are the features of this draft bill. 2 to 7 years, along with fines of 2 lakh and 1 crore. Lenders who use unlawful methods to harass the borrowers, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, ये लोग क्या करते हैं, अगर इन पर्सनल लोन ऐप से आप लोन लो और आपने टाइम से नहीं लोन पे किया, इनके पास आपका सारा डेटा होता है, राइट? आपके जो भी टॉप कॉन्टैक्ट्स होंगे उनको कॉल करके दे विल से कि दिस पर्सन हैज नॉट गिवन मी बैक दिस मनी, इन्होंने लोन लिया था तो आप दे दो इनकी जगह. They will post your photos, right? So these are not safe. This is kind of a harassment. So if they are engaged in these harassment activities, what happens in that case is they will be imprisoned for either 3 to 10 years. So illegal lending के लिए 2 to 7 years या 2 लाख से 1 करोड़ का फाइन. Unlawful methods के लिए 3 to 10 years or hefty fines. And it also calls for Central Bureau of Investigation to handle probes in such cases. That means any such activities happen, CBI directly will be handling such cases. CBI will be handling, so there will be no less chances of escape, right? This is important. Remember, associated. So this bill has been proposed by Finance Ministry. I hope this is clear. Moving on to national and state news. Now in national news, you have very important news that the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, it has hiked the MSP. Okay, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has given its approval for MSP for Copra 2025 season. Okay, खोपरा बेसिकली जिसको हिंदी में हम बोलते हैं, इसको इन्होंने बढ़ा दिया है up to rupees 420 to rupees 12,100 per quintal for 2025. Let's see the figures. So Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has decided to increase this MSP support provided to farmers of MSP for 2025 season. Okay. Now, first thing, MSP of all the mandated crops, they will be fixed at levels of at least 1.5 times of all India weighted average cost of production. How do they decide the MSP, minimum support price? MSP क्या है? You are providing them support कि ठीक है अगर मार्केट में आपका नहीं वो बिकेगा तो we will procure it at this प्राइस. MSP क्रॉपिंग से पहले ही अनाउंस हो जाती है, राइट? तो ये क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न को भी अफेक्ट करती है. अगर सपोज खोपरा इज व्हाट, नारियल जिसको हम बोलते हैं, कोकोनट, ड्राइड कोकोनट, राइट, जिसका पानी सूख चुका होता है. नाउ इट इज यूज्ड फॉर एक्सट्रैक्टिंग ऑयल एंड ईटिंग एंड मेकिंग कोकोनट चटनी एटसेट्रा, है ना? तो आप लोगों को पसंद होगी. सो दिस इज खोपरा. ओके, हिंदी में खोपरा हम बोलते हैं, कोपरा यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है. इसकी MSP गवर्नमेंट ने अनाउंस की है. MSP कैसे डिसाइड होती है? जितनी भी कॉस्ट लगती है उसका वेटेड एवरेज निकाल के 1 टाइम्स, एटलीस्ट 1 टाइम्स उसका दे डिसाइड. दिस इज द मैकेनिज्म, 1 टाइम्स ऑफ द कॉस्ट. फिर चाहे वो कोपरा हो, चाहे वीट हो, चाहे अदर crops which are there. Now what is the amount they have decided? So accordingly, MSP for the fair average quality of milling copra, it has been fixed at, remember this amount, it is important, direct question can be asked. Milling copra की MSP कितनी रखी? What is this milling copra? Milling copra is copra used in milling process, जिसको मिल्स में तेल निकालने के लिए यूज करते हैं, extracting coconut oil. Getting my point? तो उसके लिए rupees 11,582 per quintal. How much? Rupees 11,582 rupees per quintal. For ball copra, it is 12,100 rupees per quintal. Ball copra is जो गोला होता है ना, गोला जिसको सूखा नारियल बोलते हैं, गोल, है ना? तो वो मिलिंग के लिए नहीं जाता, वो डायरेक्ट मार्केट में भी सेल होता है. बॉल कोपरा के लिए कितना है? 12,100 per quintal. Okay, so this is the thing. Remember these two facts. Remember these figures as it is. Then if we talk about इसको प्रोक्यूर कौन करेगा? तो नेशनल एग्रीकल्चरल कोऑपरेटिव मार्केटिंग फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया, नाफेड, एंड नेशनल कोऑपरेटिव कंज्यूमर्स फेडरेशन, NCCF, they will be acting as nodal agencies for procurement of this copra, okay, at this MSP. Clear, everyone? Next news, the United States, it has decided that will be soon establishing a consulate in the Bengaluru by January 2025. So US will be having its consulate in Bangalore as well by 2025, confirmed by US Ambassador to India Eric Garcetti. Currently US की embassies कहाँ हैं, consulate कहाँ हैं? They are in Chennai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai, and of course New Delhi. New Delhi में you have all the consulates, right? So a new location has to be added. Bangalore is the proposed one. Next, India's BPCL, it buys first Argentinian crude oil cargo. So basically, the BPCL, Bharat Petroleum Corp Limited, it has purchased its first crude oil cargo from Argentina. पहला crude oil cargo हमने purchase किया है अर्जेंटीना से, where we have acquired 1 million barrels of this Medanito crude for 2025. Okay. It will be used in BPCL's refinery. Now, what is this thing? Why we are doing this? You need to understand the background of it. It will be used in BPCL refinery. हमने अर्जेंटीना से क्यों crude oil मंगाया? We are trying to diversify our crude oil sources. We are heavily relying on crude oil coming from Russia, crude oil coming from UAE or the OPEC countries, right? OPEC countries. Now this heavy reliance causes us high import bill. Something happens, some war happens in Russia, crude oil supply will be disrupted. Prices will be higher. You will have to import at that price. OPEC countries, they have formed a cartel, so they raise these prices, right? You have to import them. So we're trying to diversify so that price as well as the supply chain also gets maintained. Suppose in a country, if there is war going on, some geopolitical tensions going on, and the crude oil supply gets affected, you can have other source to import from so that your economic activities do not get disrupted. This is the thing. That's why this diversification is there. Remember, Argentina se pehli baar we have. Then India has partnered with France Museums Development, okay, to establish Yugin Bharat National Museum. To establish Yugin Bharat National Museum as global cultural landmark. What is this project? It is a part of Central Vista redevelopment project. Okay. So India has partnered with France Museums Development to establish this as a part of the Central Vista project. Central Vista project, you know, Central Vista is being developed, right? आप लोगों ने देखा अगर आप गए हैं इंडिया गेट के आसपास. So they want to establish this museum, and this was first introduced as an idea by Prime Minister Yug Yugin Bharat, where they will be showcasing the rich heritage of India, right? Next is Bharat Mobility Global Expo 2025. Bharat Mobility Global Expo 2025 will be taking place from 17th January to 22 across Delhi NCR. This is going to take place across Delhi NCR from 17 to 22 Jan across, you know, 3 venues: Bharat Mandapam, Yasho Bhumi, India Expo Center, etc. So you just have to remember कि इस expo का theme क्या है. Theme for this year 2025, the upcoming year, would be Beyond Boundaries, co-creating the future of automotive value chain. So they have highlighted the automotive value chain. Mobile Expo is what? Automotive mobility vehicles के लिए, right? So automotive value chain को कैसे enhance किया जा सकता है? This is the highlight and focus and the theme. Moving on to state news. State news में you have Bihar Business Connect. Bihar Business Connect 2024 Investor Summit has been recently held from 19 to 20th December in Gaya, Bihar, where significant MOUs were signed, where they will be, like, for example, investing in Bihar refinery, NHPC to invest 5,500 crore in setting up 1000 megawatt solar power project in Bihar, right? So these MOUs were signed. For this Bihar refinery, Indian Oil Corporation will be investing 21,000 crores, okay? Expanding this Baroni refinery in Bihar and setting up a city gas distribution network as well. So NHPC will also be providing. Then हल्दीराम स्नैक आप सबने सुना होगा, है ना, और आप लोगों ने उसका कुछ टेस्ट भी किया होगा. तो हल्दीराम स्नैक इज ऑल्सो इन्वेस्टिंग 300 करोड़ इन बिहार, उसकी अपनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट वहां पर सेटअप करने के लिए. सो दीज आर दी MOUs which have been signed. Then next is now this is very important fact. Masali village in the Baskantha district located in Gujarat has become the first solar border village of the country. What does it mean? Okay, so you will be telling me which is first solar village of India, right? But this is first solar border village, which means village located on border which has become entirely solar first, right? So border wala village जो solar village बना है. So this is Masali. Remember, Masali village in Gujarat, first solar border village. Okay, पाकिस्तान की border से 40 kilometers away it is. It is 100% solar powered. 100% power coming in this village is coming from solar power. Okay, not from the fossil fuel based power. So this is the thing. Remember Masali, important. And I have asked you this question. Tell me, this is first solar border village. So which is first solar village of India? or solar state if it is, whatever it is, right? Then Delhi government has announced, a complete ban on all types of firecrackers throughout the year to manage the pollution and lot of activities. Firecrackers, पटाखे जिनको आप बोलते हैं, वो banned है throughout the year, right from 1st January 2025, because New Year पे भी a lot of firecrackers they are banned, है ना? Under Section 5 of Environment Protection Act, these instructions have been provided. Under which section, remember? Section 5 of Environmental Protection Act 1986. Then you have MOU signed between Government of Manipur and Government of Uttar Pradesh. Government of Manipur and Government of Uttar Pradesh. Modhera, Gujarat. Very good. So, let's discuss this thing where you will be okay, so you will be telling me, further students, you will be telling me about this village. If Modhera is correct or if you have any other answer, you will let me know in the comment section. So MOU has been signed between government of UP and government of Manipur. This is for what? This MOU has been signed for implementation of Ek Bharat Shresht Bharat. Okay, Ek Bharat Shresht Bharat, and a lot of activities including cultural exchange programs will be implemented under this. Then you have Punjab government Farishte scheme. Punjab government's Farishte scheme has been launched, where it has emerged as the lifesaver in road accident emergencies, right? So Farishte scheme basically of the Punjab government is saving people from road accidents. What is this Farishte scheme? Anyone? What is this Farishte scheme of the Punjab government? Anyone? So under this scheme, Punjab government is providing them cashless, treatment, even at private hospitals, etc. So it is saving a lot of lives. You just remember this much. Okay, so Modhera, very good. Now, this is not so important, just mere fact. Then you have a tragic incident occurred off the coast of Mumbai when a Navy speedboat has collided with a passenger ferry named Neel Kamal. So this unfortunate incident was there. That's why Neel Kamal is in news. This was a passenger ferry transporting passengers from Gateway of India to Elephanta Island, and it got, collided. Then so they have suffered human losses. Delhi's LG, Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena, has inaugurated Dwarka Golf Course. Delhi's LG has inaugurated Dwarka Golf Course. What is important about this is they are claiming that this is the longest golf course in India. Dwarka golf course. They are claiming that this is going to be the longest golf course in India. Okay, remember. Then you have West Bengal CM launching Banglar Bari housing scheme, funded by the state government, where they are trying to provide affordable housing to poor people of West Bengal. Okay, remember Banglar Bari housing scheme. Then international news mein you have Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has lifted vehicles import ban to ease pressure on foreign exchange reserves owing to COVID-19 pandemic. Earlier, Sri Lanka has imposed certain ban on vehicle import, right? But now, you see, COVID ke baad Sri Lankan economy was almost collapsed due to tourism sector getting affected. A lot of factors were there, so it has removed that ban so as to boost the economy. Okay. Then Prime Minister will be undertaking a 2-day visit to Kuwait. So Prime Minister has went to Kuwait on 21st December. which is the first visit of Indian Prime Minister in 43 years. That's why this is important, remember. This is first visit of an Indian Prime Minister in the entire course of 43 years. Okay, and he has been accorded a ceremonial guard of honor at the Bain Palace. Talking about MOUs and mergers, no detailed discussion is required, just important MOUs. Let's see. So your Bata India has partnered with the Zepto, where they will be providing delivery. So now you can get on Zepto, Bata shoes will also be available, right? This is the thing. Then Excite Energy Solutions has signed MOU with Hyundai Motor for the supply of lithium ion cells and battery packs for EVs in India. Lithium ion cells and battery packs. Then you have Hexagon and Texmin. Hexagon has collaborated with your Texmin IIT Dhanbad for establishment of R&D facilities and programs for empowering students, researchers, professors, etc. Then you have Tata Power Delhi Distribution Limited has partnered with Baz Bikes, where they will be establishing EV battery swapping stations, okay, in North and Northwest West Delhi. So Baz Bikes will be managing these stations for the EVs of Tata Power. Then you have Andhra Pradesh government and Physics Wala, PW. Andhra Pradesh government and PW have partnered to establish University of Innovation. PW is one of the coaching institutes you all know about, right? So PW has partnered, Physics Wala has been aiding a lot of students in a lot of examination. You all know about Physics Wala and the story of the founder. So PW and Andhra Pradesh, they have collaborated. They're planning to establish a university itself, which is University of Innovation, okay, which is going to be state's first institute of eminence, where they will be focusing on providing AI knowledge, right? So AI, emerging tools and entrepreneurship. So this is the thing. Then next you have SpiceJet. SpiceJet has entered into agreement with the US's Standard Aero to provide services of Boeing 737 MAX planes. This is not important, just remember this thing if you can, but not so much relevant, right? Then next you have Swan Energy. Swan Energy in Singapore's AGNP terminals, they have partnered to form joint ventures for LNG supply in India. The LNG supply, liquefied natural gas supply in India, and beyond they will be providing. Then you have DRDO, IIT Delhi and industry. They have signed 10 tripartite agreements at an event recently of DRDO Industry Academia Center of Excellence at IIT Delhi for development and manufacturing of lightweight bulletproof jacket, Abhed, okay, and indigenous polymeric ballistic material. So these Abhed, lightweight bulletproof jacket के development के लिए, remember this can be important, this one. This is 10 agreements have been signed, tripartite. Three parties are there, DRDO, IIT Delhi and the industry, the relevant industry experts, right? Abhed is the name of the jacket. Then you have ITC Limited has acquired shareholding of Oberoi and Leela from its wholly owned arm Russell Credit Limited, okay? So ITC has acquired this shareholding in Oberoi Leela Hotels chains. It has acquired 2.44 of the share capital. Then you have Micromax Informatics and Phison. They have launched MIFI, which is world's lowest per token cost and energy consumption for AI use cases. This is going to help you in AI based applications. This much only is relevant here. Then you have Ultratech Cement has got approval to acquire India Cements. Ultratech Cement will be acquiring India Cements. Okay. Now this was about MOUs. Moving on to science and tech section. First you have the TCI lab, Transportation Corporation of India lab, has received ISO certification for a digital tool which can track greenhouse gas emission. This can be important, right? So this Transport Corporation of India has received ISO certification for a tool. This is a digital tool which can actually track how much greenhouse gas emission is happening. So we can curb it at the source only, right? And with this, it has become the first organization in India to achieve this ISO 14083 certificate for this digital platform. So remember this thing. Next, ISRO has started assembly of your HLV-M3, Human Rated Launch Vehicle Mark 3, for the Gaganyaan mission. Gaganyaan mission, you see, India wants to send its crewed mission with a crew, with crew members. Till 2027 it will be there, it should be there. So for this, ISRO is starting preparations, for this. It has started assembly of this launch vehicle HLV-M3, which will be taking up them, right, Human Rated Launch Vehicle Mark 3. So just remember, in this news, what you have to remember is this HLV-M3 is what? ISRO ka Gaganyaan assisting launch vehicle is there, okay? Then you have Chinese astronauts. They top US record making space history. Chinese astronauts have created history. 2 Chinese astronauts aboard the Tiangong space station. They have set a new world record. What is the record? Longest single spacewalk, breaking the record of 23 years. So astronauts Kai Zui and Song Lingdong. Okay, these 2 names are there, remember. Kai Zui and Song Lingdong. So Tiangong space station mein longest single spacewalk. What is a spacewalk? Spacewalk is when you get out of the spacecraft in which you were sent, right? In the vacuum of the space. तो आपने देखा हो कि एस्ट्रोनॉट स्पेसक्राफ्ट से बाहर निकल के, क्योंकि ग्रेविटी नहीं होती, राइट, सो दे आर फ्लोटिंग लाइक दिस. सो दिस इज द वैक्यूम ऑफ द स्पेस टू ऑब्जर्व एंड टू collect samples or click pictures, etc. Spacewalk happens. So this is longest single spacewalk history created by 2 Chinese astronauts. Remember this. Moving on to defense section, the Sashastra Seema Bal has recently celebrated 61st Rising Day. Okay. So remember, Sashastra Seema Bal, 21st December, Rising Day. 61st Rising Day on 20th December, not 21st, 20th December. Sashastra Seema Bal comes under your MHA, headquartered at Udaipur. Where is it working? In India, Nepal and India, Bhutan border. What is their motto? Service, security and brotherhood. Service, security and brotherhood. Okay. Then you have Ministry of Defence signed contract with L&T, Larsen and Turbo Limited, for procurement of 155 mm 52 caliber KN Vajra T self-propelled tracked artillery guns. So these are kind of artillery guns they have signed a contract to acquire or procure for the Indian Army. Okay, just remember this name, not more than this. Then Indian Coast Guard ships Vaibhav and Abhiraj. So who are Vaibhav and Abhiraj? Vaibhav and Abhiraj are Indian Coast Guard ships, right? They will be visiting Colombo and Gale respectively, which is a part of Maritime Joint Training Operations. So just remember these 2 names. Then you have Indian Army has launched Indian Army AI Incubation Center in Bengaluru. This can be important. Out of these 2-3 news we have covered, Indian Army has launched Indian Army AI Incubation Center in Bengaluru. So remember the location. Bangalore, where they have established this center, where they will be collaborating with BEL, Bharat Electronics Limited, for infrastructure and IT support. So this is collaboration with BEL and location is Bengaluru. Moving on to indices, rankings and reports. Indian men's hockey team has achieved 5th place which placed 5th place in latest FIH World Rankings, following their historic performance at 2024 Paris Olympics. So Indian men's hockey team is now at 5th place. Okay, who is at the first place? Remember, Netherlands. Netherlands is at the top position. Then talking about reports, World Bank has recently released data on top recipients of remittances among low and middle income countries. Low and middle income countries के लिए, so India is also World Bank classification. If you have read, I have given you in the national income discussion and paid course classes as well. World Bank classification of national income is there based on the GNI per capita. So India comes under lower middle income category, right? For it has provided certain data on the recipients of remittances. So top 5 countries, India. Remember, India is the top most recipient of remittances in the world. Remittances which we receive. India followed by Mexico, China, Philippines and Pakistan. Okay. So remember, which country is at the top? India is the top recipient of the remittances. Then next is, according to Energy Information Administration, India emerged as leading source of growth in global oil consumption. India is a leading source of growth in global oil consumption. So oil consumption ki demand is coming from India because India is a very fast or most fastest developing economy, right? So this is the thing. It says, this report of Energy Information Administration says, consumption of liquid fuels in India is forecasted to increase by 220,000 barrels per day in 2024 and by 330,000 barrels per day in 2025. So lot of oil consumption demand coming from India. That signifies the growing economy, right? But again, pressure on the sustainable development targets. Then you have National Institute. So Niti Aayog has released a report on the site adjacent factory employee safe accommodation worker housing for manufacturing growth in New Delhi. Okay, so Niti Aayog has released this report, Safe Site Adjacent Factory report. I think the class has gone too long for today because a lot of news were there today in this PDF. So I think it's quite long for you as well to continue with this session. I think I should pause here and I will be resuming from this news only, Niti Aayog's report. I will be resuming from this news, Niti Aayog's report, in the next class today only in the second half. Okay. So in second half, we will be having further current affairs. Before that, I will be discussing the remaining news. Only 2-3 pages are remaining that will be discussed. Whatever we have discussed today, I hope it is clear. Now it's time for a quick top 5 MCQ session, right? Of the, or say we will have these MCQs after this discussion only because some questions will be there from this part. You will not be able to answer. So in second half, I will see you all with the remaining portion of it. Only a 5 to 10 minute discussion is remaining. And then we will continue with the next set of current affairs. Today only in second half, right? Till then, have a great day. I hope you have understood all these news and lot of important news we have discussed. We are also discussing important concepts in the class. That's why it takes a lot of time. So please focus on the class. I'm explaining you all the concepts coming in between, right? I hope it helps you and the class was useful for you. We'll be resuming from this Niti Aayog report in second half in the next session. Till then, have a good day. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next class. Stay tuned.